got a brand new show today, and we're looking forward to it. It looks like John Sotomayor, the host of the show, has his guests all lined up. This is Ocala Magazine Radio, and John Sotomayor is the executive editor of Ocala Magazine. John, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Larry. I'm doing great.
Got a good first show ready for us, huh?
Excellent. Yes, I do. Well, thank you very much, Larry. I'm very excited about the premiere of the Ocala Magazine radio show. It's an extension of what Ocala Magazine does for the community, which is provide informative and entertaining storytelling for our community. As our radio tagline says, we bring the pages of Ocala Magazine to life. I thought I would start out with stories from our January Town and Country issue, but before I do, I also want to mention that Ocala Magazine interacts with the community through our print issue by including community-driven and congratulatory features like our recent Best of the Best that appears in our December issue, and our upcoming 40 Under 40. We asked nominees from the community for both listings. Right now, I'd like to focus on the Best of the Best 2013. While it seems early, but in fact, it's a year-long project. We don't usually open up the category selection of Best of the Best to the public, only the voting. But the public requested it, so we'll offer it. Please call into this show with any categories you think you'd like to include. I plan to close the poll February 1st, so you have this show and the next show to make suggested categories. Okay, so back to the feature story from Town and Country. I thought I'd like to start with the Metro Ocala feature. In that one, we noticed that Ocala is going through what Ocala Magazine dubbed a metromorphosis. We looked at 9 new advances in 2012 and 13 that will launch Ocala into the next stratosphere. I selected 2 reps of the 9 that I thought were very fascinating, and I'm also going to talk about a third. The first is award-winning lecture series offered by IHMC, which stands for the Institute for Human and Machine Cognition. Here to speak on it is Associate Director John Rodgacki, also known as Ro. Ro, IHMC offers an evening lecture series that is sophisticated and intellectual, like the lecture presented last night by Sue Skemp. Can you tell us about it?
I'd be glad to, and thanks, John, for having me on. It's a real pleasure to be here. IHMC's evening lecture series is an opportunity for us and for our partners to give back to our community. We bring in national or international experts in a wide variety of fields to talk about their areas of expertise. However, not all of us are experts in their areas, and so in order for us to bring them in, they have to be able to communicate in a way that the people who come to our lectures can understand. And last night we had Sue Skemp come in, and she spoke to a full house at IHMC. This is becoming a habit now to really pack the place out. Sue is the executive director for the Southeast National Marine Renewable Energy Center at Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton. She has developed a multidisciplinary program to investigate, test, and evaluate the potential of harnessing power to generate electricity from the ocean currents, specifically ocean current hydrokinetic and ocean thermal energy conversion. Under Ms. Skemp's leadership, the Center and FAU's engineers and scientists are making a unique contribution to a broadly diversified portfolio of renewable energy for the nation's future. The title of her talk was Ocean Energy, the Next Blue Source of Power. And if you missed it, you'll have an opportunity in the future to go to our website, and you can click on a number of tabs to get to videos of all of our former presentations.
Excellent. And tell us about last month's guest, Dr. Wesley Huntress.
Yes. So Wes Huntress brought some balance to our program by talking about the robotic exploration of space. Our very first lecture at IHMC in Ocala was by Dr. Harrison Schmitt, Senator Harrison Schmitt, who is the last man on the moon. And he talked about human exploration of space. Well, Wes came and talked about roving the solar system looking for signs of life. He was formerly the NASA Associate Administrator for Space Science and is currently the chair of NASA's Science Advisory Committee and Director Emeritus of the Geophysical Laboratory of the Carnegie Institution of Washington. One of the most profound questions humans ask is if we are alone in the universe. Does life also exist on planets far, far away? Pursuit of the answer to this question has been one of the driving forces behind our scientific exploration of the solar system since the dawn of the space age. And NASA has sent multiple spacecraft to many far-flung destinations looking for signs of life in such places as Mars, Europa, and Titan. Well, Wes talked about how NASA does this and what they have found so far.
Wow, that's some pretty heady stuff. Tell me, what does this do for Ocala? How does it make it more metro?
Well, we think that by providing this intellectual stimulation, we can keep Ocalites involved in cutting-edge issues of all types, whether it's scientific or political or developmental, and just get conversations going and allow us to educate each other and to become part of the national conversation.
Okay. And which is the next lecture that's coming up in February?
I don't have that information with me. I'm sorry. No, here it is. Susan A. McManus, and she's going to be talking about what Florida taught the nation in campaign 2012. She is a political advisor to WFLA TV in Tampa, and she has been very sought after across the national stage in her analysis of what went on in Florida during the campaign and during the election.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ro. I'd now like to take a different turn and focus on a project that's lighter. It is actually considered a pop culture phenomenon. Ocala will host its very first ever Comic-Con. My guests couldn't be here today, but I'm going to speak a little bit about their behalf. Ocala Comic-Con is coming to the Hilton Ocala on June 29th and 30th, and it is created by Chris Major and Don Gualandri. These guys are both CF students and big Comic-Con fans. And for those who don't know, Comic-Con is the brand name for comic book conventions that have now broadened to include a wide range of affiliated art forms, including sci-fi, fantasy, anime, and other popular genres. And they have some really incredible guests coming in. Their confirmed VIP list includes Kevin Nash. He's best known for his roles in the film series Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and more recently as Tarzan in Magic Mike, Almighty Thor, and Rock of Ages. They also have artist inker Sergio Calaria. He has done comic book work for Caliber, Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Disney, and more. They also have Bob McLeod. He's the creator of New Mutants, and he started production for Marvel Comics in 1973, then became a top inker for both Marvel and DC Comics. Also coming is Graham Nolan. He created the Batman comic book villain Bane, who recently appeared in A Dark Knight Rises. And for those Hobbit fans, he also worked on the graphic novel form in the 1980s. So there's going to be a great list of people coming in.
Yeah.
Very exciting. I mean, when I heard about this, I thought, what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You know, Larry, I mean, this is the kind of thing that I would come to.
Yeah, you hear about this in Atlanta, New York, and Ocala. To get something like that, that's pretty amazing.
Exactly. Yeah, their international one is in San Diego every year. It attracts
right?
60,000 people or more. Can you imagine what it's going to do to Ocala?
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
I hear there's some pretty nice costumes in those events, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
People dress up in costume. They hire people to come in. It's, very high-end, high-tech. Lots
Wow.
of fun.
Good photo op for the magazine, right?
That's right. Yeah. We'll be there. And I want to focus now on our final guest, Janie Pope. She's a downtown program manager for the city of Ocala, and she's going to talk briefly about 4 new exciting projects, including the Gaslight District, the Lineal Park, the Citizen Circle, and a potential new minor league baseball team. So, Janie, hi.
Hi, John. First of all, before I get into those, can I just say, you just talked about a Comic-Con
Yeah.
and an Institute of Human-Machine Cognition in, one program. And
Right.
I just want to say, the whole concept of Metro Ocala is incredible because we're legitimately moving forward at a rate that I've never seen. I'm from here. My mom's from here. My grandmother's from here. I mean, this is stuff that we've never had before, and we are finally able to compete with other cities
Yes.
that have these things, Orlando, Jacksonville, things like that. Ro, where did you go to school? What's your degree in?
I went to the Air Force Academy for undergraduate degree in engineering mechanics and earned a master's degree and PhD from the University of Washington in Seattle.
I can't, just to be sitting here next to this gentleman and to know that walking distance away from City Hall in the downtown square is a place like IHMC, and then now you're here helping promote Comic-Con and everything that we're doing. It's just so exciting, and so thank you so much for including me in all of it. I
Our
really
pleasure.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
To touch on the things that you mentioned now, I'm really excited to say that the city of Ocala is we're really trying to continue to revamp and revitalize our downtown area. And I think most people would agree that it's really much more enticing and inviting than it has been in a really long time. We have retail, we have restaurants, we have entertainment, we have lecture series and things like that. But we are really looking to try to continue to improve the north side of 40, and with the Gaslight District, we're hoping to do just that. For those of you that aren't sure what that is, there's an empty lot just next to the old Ocala National Bank building. Some know it as the Sovereign Building. It's right behind the entrance, the back entrance to Brick City Cafe. And right now it's just an old, yucky looking lot. But we do have some conceptual drawings. Actually, I think you can see a rendering of it in your Ocala magazine
That's
right now. We're really looking to increase, almost double the parking there, so that will help increase the amount of parking for folks walking distance from the square, and also provide more parking for some of the newer businesses that have gone into place there, like Ansophone, for example. But also we want to use that site as a venue spot, so that will actually create another entertainment possibility. We've got Citizen Circle we just created, which is beautiful on the backside of City Hall, for those of you that haven't seen it. It's a built-in stage and outdoor venue site. We've got the square, of course. We've got Tuscaloosa Park, which is also gorgeous, more natural setting. And then the Gaslight District is really going to be kind of an eclectic industrial feel. And we're going to have flat parking area during the day, and then if we want to come and set up shop, we can put a stage right in there and put on a show right in that very parking lot. So it's going to be really neat.
Excellent. And you already used the spot with the Light Up Ocala, correct?
We did. For those of you that attended Light Up Ocala, it was the Kids Zone. We actually closed down 40 this year for the first time ever at Light Up and extended the event 14 blocks.
Yeah,
and we
it was
had,
fun.
thank you, I'm glad you went. We had the whole area back there for kids, and you can see the potential in the lot already. But once it's done, definitely look at the conceptual drawing in the magazine. And actually, the city's having an information session next week on Thursday the 31st, where we're going to actually unveil more of the renderings and go more in depth in explaining what these projects are. But definitely, once you see the renderings, you can really get a feel for how exciting it's going to be once it's there. And we're looking to do that in the next year or so.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's going to also include the Lineal Park? It's going to connect?
Linear Park is, some of you may be confused as to why part of Osceola has now been closed near the Customer Service Center. That's actually in preparation for a linear park that we're creating, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's linear, which means a line, and it's going to extend from Osceola, where the Citizen Service Center is by Citizen Circle and City Hall, all the way down across 40, up into the north side of 40 by Tuscaloosa, and what else is down there? Seminole Feed and things like that. So it's literally going to stretch the whole way and connect us, finally connect the square all the way to Tuscaloosa. And it's going to be a linear park where you can walk, ride your bike, walk your dog, and, just enjoy yourself. We're going to create some nice green space and some nice sculpture areas and structural architecture. The renderings are gorgeous.
Yes.
And I think we're going to start the first phase of that here within the next year.
Cool. And that's also going to connect to the Citizen Circle, correct?
Yes, yeah, it runs right by it. Citizen Circle is on the back side of City Hall, right there at Osceola and Fort King. And like I said, that's our newest venue space that's done and holds about 2,500 people, if not more. We've had a few concerts there already. Rodney Atkins was there. We had the Free For All event there with For King and Country.
Yes.
I'm working right now on creating a fall concert series to bring in some more artists, which should be a lot of fun for some outdoor daylight savings time concerts. So there's a lot of stuff planned.
Yeah, lots of things going on here. We talked about a sophisticated intellectual lecture series. We talked about Comic-Con for kids of all ages, and now concerts. And the one thing we haven't discussed yet is sports. There's something else in the plan there.
Yes. I'm still, everything's pretty much under wraps. I'm not even informed on a lot of it. But I do know for a fact that we are in discussions with the Yankees to try to bring their farm team, or their minor league team, I guess I should say, here rather than Tampa. We're an underserved market. We have a lot of Yankees fans, and like I said, we're finally able to compete with cities like Orlando and Tampa and Jacksonville. We've got a lot to offer here. And we're trying to do just that. We're trying to bring the Yankees minor league team here to Ocala so that, obviously that will help stimulate the economy, because immediately you've got a totally different genre of things to do there, And additionally, we just want to have more entertainment for our community, for our citizens, and for people in the surrounding areas.
Wonderful. Well, it looks like we have a caller interested in some of the topics we talked about.
Yeah,
Larry?
You do. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. How is this linear park going to impact the high unemployment in the city of Ocala and Marion County, and how much is it going to cost to complete this project? I'll hang up and listen to you. Okay.
All right.
How is the linear park going to affect unemployment? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I honestly don't know that there would be any direct impact to unemployment. Unfortunately, I can't speak very much to the budget itself, but I do know that there are different funds allocated for different things, and Linear Park has been budgeted for. We've also received some federal grants in terms of repairing the railroad tracks in the area and trying to do the improvements around the tracks by Osceola and stuff. So the money is not all coming straight out of the city of Ocala. A lot of it is grant funded. Additionally, when you improve something, when you improve an area, you can attract business. And with the linear park and the improvements that we're doing to downtown, that we are investing the money in, the idea is that with all this vacant property we have downtown, we will be able to attract more businesses to the area and therefore hire more individuals from our own community.
Yeah, I have to say that when IHMC decided to open a second campus, we had the choice of going anywhere in the state of Florida, pretty much. We were courted by a number of cities, but we chose Ocala, and one of the reasons was that we saw how hard the city and county were working at creating a really livable downtown, which is important for us because we are competing with places like Austin and Boston and Seattle to hire the best and brightest scientists and researchers in the world. And one of the things they are really interested in is having a very livable downtown so that they can do their research, they can interact with one another and with the community, and then they can walk easily to a nice restaurant downtown or enjoy the outdoors or do a little shopping during their breaks. So I see the linear park as continuing in that direction of improving the downtown, which will in turn create an environment that is more attractive to companies who are looking for another location like IHMC was.
I have to agree. I'm originally from New York City, and we have Central Park, which everybody knows about, and it attracts everybody over there. They always have events going on, and it attracts business and commerce. Same thing with Washington, D.C., where I've lived for a good period of time. They have the mall, which is in the central area. It connects museums, boutiques, shopping centers. It's all connected by public transportation. So having some kind of a lineal park venue is a great place to attract people over there. It attracts business and commerce. So I hope that answered the question.
I'm sure it did. He's listening right now. He's not on the phone anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you
Great.
for asking.
Oh,
though,
and you
really.
fielded what could have been a tough question very well. It was a great answer, and when I go to a restaurant, part of the reason is because of the ambiance.
Right.
And so that's what you're doing. You're creating an ambiance downtown that will obviously attract people. It's already doing it with the improved ambiance that has already happened in the last 20 years.
And I don't think people realize a lot of the planning that goes into attracting businesses. Ansophone is a perfect example. They too picked downtown Ocala, and they've hired over 100 employees to work for them now. And Ro is exactly right. He hit the nail on the head. Yes, it's costing money to improve these areas, but people want to come to places that are aesthetically
That's right.
pleasing.
Yeah.
There are also some other centers that we didn't talk about yet that's in the feature, which includes the Business Incubator, the power plant,
Right.
and the new CEP, Chamber and Economic Partnership. These go directly with the question he just asked, which is how do we attract more commerce to the area? And those are located in the area. And Janie, you had a name for that whole area. It's no longer just a downtown. It's
Right, yes. The Central Business District is actually what it's called. And when people think of downtown, they think of the square. But it's important to remember that historically, historic downtown Ocala stretches all the way from the S-curve down to North Magnolia, all the way to 10th Street. If you look at our history and some of our old photos, you'll see all of old Ocala is that entire area from Pine to 8th Avenue, all of Tuscaloosa. So, that whole section there is our downtown. And it's the central business district, technically. And, it's a feeling. And that's why we were kind of running this campaign, Feel Downtown Ocala, because, you guys have been down there. You said IHMC moved down there because it just felt right.
Right. Ro, tell us a little bit more about IHMC besides the lecture series so people understand what's going on there.
I'd be glad to. IHMC, the Institute for Human and Machine Cognition, is a not-for-profit research institute. We're part of the state university system. Our listeners probably know that there are 12 universities within the system, but there are also 2 research institutes, IHMC and the Moffitt Cancer Research Institute down in the Tampa Bay area. We do research that's focused on the interface and the interaction of people and machines. And when I say machines, I include computers in that as well. So a lot of our research is aimed at providing assistance to people who have lost capabilities, like paraplegics, people who have gone blind, people who need some help with their cognitive skills, and also in giving people superhuman capabilities. So I invite people to go to our website, ihmc.us, and take a closer look at what we're doing.
That's excellent. Thank you, Ro. And one last other item we didn't talk about yet is the arts. There's a new Performing Arts Center project underway. I did interview Melissa Townsend, who talked about that, and she'll probably be a guest on a future show, but I can touch about that a little bit. They're looking to renovate the auditorium building in Tuscaloosa Park, and that would house the Ocala Symphony Orchestra. It would be a venue for other things that includes music concerts, operas, dance, comedy acts, book readings, public speaking, and more. So there's so much going on in the whole area there that we're advancing as a metro place.
And John, if I could also add to that, if anyone listening wants to continue to keep up with what's going on in downtown, they can visit feeldowntownocala.com. David Moore is one of our writers and content writers for the website, as for your magazine, I think.
Right.
And he does a great job of our lists, the top 13 new resolutions in 2013. He's always got something creative going on. We have what it's playing at the Marion Theater, a calendar of events, of things coming up. So visit that site, feeldowntownocala.com, or facebook.com/feeldowntown.
Thanks, Janie. And there is more going on throughout all of town of Ocala. One honorable mention that we had was the Ocala Civic Theater. For those who don't know, they recently celebrated their 25th anniversary. And what kind of impact do they have on Ocala and as a metro place? Well, they serve 70,000 people throughout the year with a budget of $1.4 million. It's one of the largest, if not the largest, community theaters in Central Florida. And they also have been ranked among the top 25 in the nation. So they're doing some outstanding things in this community.
Always get rave reviews whenever we promote anything at the Civic Theater. The listeners, people who just want to let us know that they had a good time the night before. I mean, that's
Right.
Even people like yourself who are familiar with the New York theater scene.
Yes.
Will compare it to that. And
That's right.
With favorable reviews. So.
Absolutely.
I just had someone text and say that also Kevin Nash is an amazing wrestler too.
Oh,
so
that's
they're listening and they're excited about Kevin
Thank you for
Nash.
adding
Yes.
There are more things in the feature. We hope that you do read. In upcoming episodes, we'll be talking about the horse industry. We had one called Horsing Around, where we list different venues around the community with the opportunity to interact with horses. One of the most common questions we get from people visiting is, where do I find a horse?
It's amazing,
ride?
huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You think with this being the horse capital of the world, people would automatically know, but they don't. So we have a guide here. Please take a look in our January issue, and in an upcoming episode, we'll have some guests to talk about it.
Well, John Sotomayor, you have put together a great first show. Wow.
Thank you, Larry.
Thanks for having us.
You all did great.
Thank you both. I can't believe it went by so fast. I guess that's all our time. So my thanks to our guests, Ro of IHMC and Janie of the City of Ocala, as well as our hosts, Larry and Robin, and the entire team at WOCA. I'd like you to tune in next week as we talk about more topics for our January Town and Country issue. And don't forget to look for our February bridal issue due in the first week of February.
Wow, very good. Oh, wow. You got a lot on your plate. Thank you. Thank you all. That was a great show.
Thank you, Larry.
We will look forward to next week when you do it again.
Okay,
Wow,
got it.
it's going to be too long. Too much time between shows. All right, we've got to take a little break, and when we come back, a designer for Disney is going to be speaking to us about the Lies Project, dissecting lies we tell ourselves. We'll be right back with that.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala. ABC News Now. I'm Karen Chase. If you thought the winter weather couldn't get any worse, you were wrong. Adding to the misery of Arctic temperatures all week, a storm system is now threatening to dump snow, freezing rain, and ice into the mix today from the Midwest to Maine. The school board in Newtown, Connecticut is seeking an unprecedented waiver to let kids in grades 3 through 8 skip standardized testing this spring, saying the trauma triggered by the school shooting warrants the one-time request. More kickback from